Okay, so today we're going to work on our lower body and standing poses, which is always the foundation of every practice that we do. We always want to feel rooted, and especially with back pain. What I find extremely important is that we're often very weak in the legs, and the legs, flexibility and the strength in the legs and the hips is what supports the spine. Okay, so it's important to cultivate strength in order to relieve back pain as well. So we're going to focus a little bit on that, opening the hips, balance, and strength in the lower body. So let's sit. Cross the legs. Take the hands on the knees. And take a moment to lift the chest. So as you sit here, you can use your hands to pull on your knees to start to move the shoulder blades into the body. Specifically, the lower edges of the shoulder blades move into the body. And the shoulders roll back and down. And at the same time, instead of arching the low back, because a lot of us tend to collapse in our lumbar spine, you want to make sure you're pressing your sitting bones down into the ground. Close the eyes to take a few deep breaths here. Lengthen through the crown of the head. And as we open the chest, don't forget to keep the sitting bones and the pelvis heavy, pressing down into the ground so that we keep the space between the top of the pelvis and the lower ribs very wide and broad. We don't want to compress the spine. We want to create space in the low back. So we'll begin with our mental centering. My teacher was teaching about headaches last night and healing headaches. And one of the things he taught was this mental centering, because our mind is so scattered and we have so many thoughts moving in so many directions, that this helps us relax our minds a little bit and come back to our hearts. So we'll start with the hands alongside the ears, fingers cupped. Inhale. Exhale, gathering the mind, and taking a moment to collect all our thoughts. Bring the palms together at the third eye. Inhale here. And as you exhale, offer the mind down to the heart. And draw the mind down to the heart center. Because we live here, we live in our hearts, we should not live in our heads. So we want to remind ourselves constantly, because the mind will always want to take over. We'll do two more like this. Inhale. Exhaling, gathering the mind. Inhale. Exhaling, coming down to the heart. One more time at your own pace. You might want to think about a thought or a worry that's been going on and on and on. You'll notice you tend to have the same thoughts over and over. So maybe gather up that one thing that you just can't get off your mind. So that we practice today a little more from our hearts, a little less from our mind. Take a deep breath in. Chin down to the heart. Lift the chin up, release the hands, and open the eyes slowly. Take your right fingertips out to the side. Take the left arm overhead and we'll stretch the side of the waist. Relax the right ear towards the shoulder. And reach to the fingertips. Reach to the fingertips. And press the left sitting bone down into the ground. Open up the left side of the waist. Take a few deep breaths here. And then come to the other side. What we want to think about here is, again, creating that space in the spine. So we're opening up the area between the lower ribs and the iliac crest, the top of the pelvis. There's this little area here. And there's some muscles there that tend to go into spasm. So relax the ear towards the shoulder. Reach through the fingertips, press the right sitting bone down. Breathe into the right rib cage. And see if you can specifically feel this area between the lower ribs and the upper pelvis. Come back up. Let's do the other side again. Let's switch legs. Press the opposite leg on top. And then walk the right fingertips over to the side. Lift arm overhead, ear to the shoulder. And then reach through the fingertips. Open the chest. Reach through the fingertips, open the chest. And now again, feel this area between the lower ribs and the upper pelvis, which means you have to ground your left sitting bone down into the earth as we reach. One more time, other side. As you stretch to the left side, you want to breathe a little bit more into the right side. So see if you can move the breath into the right rib cage, but also the lower part, opening up the right side. And then come up slowly. We're going to twist to the right side. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, twist. One breath per movement. Think about inhaling as you lengthen the spine. And exhaling as you twist by drawing the belly towards the spine to the left. And again to the right. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. To the left side. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. One more time, each side. Really creating as much space between the vertebrae as you reach to the crown of the head. And as you exhale, gently twisting, bringing out all of the tension. Other side, inhale, lengthening, creating space. Exhale to the left, bringing out tension, tightness. And then release down. Take the legs out in front. If your hamstrings are tight, you'll stay up on a block. If you're pretty open, you can come off of your block. So the key is that when you're sitting in Dandasana, right, sideways, you want to make sure that your sacrum is completely perpendicular to the floor. So it has to be in line. If it's tipping backwards, then you need to sit up on something, blanket, a block. If this is easy for you, then you can be without anything underneath the hips. Okay, so listen to your body. You want to maintain that 90-degree angle with the sacrum and the legs straight. And then the fingertips will come next to the hips. Roll the shoulders back and lift the chest. Okay, so we start to wake up the legs. Now here the legs are working. You're pushing out through the big toe mounds. But push your heels down into the ground. Don't let the heels come up. Push those heels down. Lift the chest. And then release down. And let's do it again one more time. Come into Dandasana. Ground the legs. Push out through the big toe mounds. Okay, the toes come back a little bit. The toe mounds go forward. And then push the fingers down and create some space in the spine. Lift the chest. Now watch that we don't overarch the back. We want to keep the sitting bones rooted down into the ground. Chest nice and open. And release that. We're going to lie on our back. We're going to lengthen the whole spine here. So just come onto your back. And if you have a block or or a little towel roll. You can put it between your legs. Okay, what we want to do is we're going to want to squeeze the block or the towel between the legs. So you're going to squeeze the block, hook your thumbs, and reach the arms overhead. Okay? So you're going to squeeze the block, roll the inner thighs down towards the floor, and push out through the big toe mounds, and then reach through the fingertips. And take a few deep breaths. And the more we hug the thighs in and roll the inner thighs down, the more opening we can feel throughout the spine. Now on the exhalation, lift the belly. You start to draw the lower belly in and up. One more breath. And then release, let go. You'll notice kind of the legs like to roll out to the side. You're going to hook your thumbs the opposite direction. And again, squeeze the block, okay? But we're not just squeezing the block, we're rolling the inner thighs down towards the floor. So it's like you're bringing your block down towards the earth. Push out through the big toe mounds, reach through the fingertips, and take a few deep breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Really work the legs and the inner thighs back and down. Good. And then release that. Okay. Take Supta Padangusthasana, so you'll need your strap. I'll have to find my strap. And take your right leg up and left leg out. The right leg straight up. For this variation, if you have a nice long strap, what you can do is you can bend your elbows to the side. So your arms are actually on the ground, a little bit away from the body. And as you push your shoulders, your arms, your elbows down into the ground, and push out through the left big toe mound, we can lift the chest, lift the chest, lift the chest, and hold, and hold. And really engage the legs, push out through the left big toe mound, open the chest at the same time. So if the legs are relaxed, we're not getting a whole lot out of this. You really need to engage your quads, and also at the same time think about moving your right thigh bone away from your head. A little bit longer. And then release that side and take the left leg up. The strap will go right above the ankle. Again, if you can, you'll have your elbows on the ground for today. Push the elbows down, shoulder blades down, lift the chest, and then push that left big toe mound, lengthen the leg through the inner thigh, lengthen up towards the sky. And then you want to move this left outer hip away from the head. Left outer hip moves away from the head. And open the chest. And don't forget the right leg, the bottom leg. We're still using that as our grounding. So you're pushing out through the right inner foot. And then release. So we're going to do one more each side. Now, if you have a wall, I'm going to show you a way to do it with the wall. So you'll push your left foot, into the wall. Okay? So the left foot will press firmly into the wall, if you have one. If you don't, you can do it again. And the reason we want to do this is so that you can really feel the left leg work. So you're pushing that left leg, left big toe mound into the wall. Press down through the elbows, lift the chest. Open the heart. And see how that changes the pose when you have something to push into with your left leg. What you want to feel in this left leg is that the inner thigh is rolling down towards the floor. There's a sense of grounding of the skin of the inner thigh. Not a big movement, just a subtle movement. Switch sides, take the right foot against the wall, the left leg up, elbows down, push the right foot into the wall. So the left leg is still engaged. I'm still opening my hip, but now I want to feel this right foot push firmly against the wall. So much so that I can feel the inner thigh moving down towards the floor. And then take a few breaths. Lift the chest, right? We're using the strap, we're using the arms to press down to keep the chest lifted. Good. And then release that. Now roll over to the side. We're going to take our block. So you have two options. One is to use a wall, the other is to use a chair. Okay? So if you have a chair, you can use it, or you can have your hands against the wall. We'll take the block between the legs. And again, this is to teach us to hug those thighs in and roll the inner thighs back. So your hands are going to come on the chair. You're going to walk your feet back and press your heels down into the ground. And you're going to initiate the movement towards downward facing dog by squeezing the block, rolling the inner thighs back, and taking the pubic bone towards the tailbone. Pubic bone towards the tailbone. Then you're going to push your heels down into the ground. So the legs are really initiating the movement. You're feeling the inner thighs go back. You're moving your pelvis away from your lower ribs, and you're pushing your heels down into the ground. A couple more breaths. Really feeling the grounding, feeling your feet spreading on the earth. Now, we're going to come forward into plank. If you don't have a wall nearby, you can do a regular plank, but our hands are going to be on the chair. Again, you want to hug those thighs in, wake up the inner thighs, roll the shoulders back, and open the chest. Everything is in one line here, and the important thing is that the shoulder blades are spreading wide on the back. So you don't want to collapse into your upper back. You want to push your hands down into the ground, spread the shoulder blades, squeeze the block, open the chest, and then come back into downward dog. So back into down dog, we're going to do this a few times. So you're going to press your heels down into the earth, squeeze the block, roll the inner thighs back, open the chest. Feel the sitting bones moving down through the hip bones, all the way into the ground. And then come forward, plank. Hold here. You want to gaze somewhat straight ahead so your neck is in a neutral position. And then push your hands down into the ground. Spread the shoulder blades wide. Squeeze the block. And now it's like you're taking your block up towards the sky. So take that block up. And hold a little bit longer. Lots of strength. And then again, downward facing dog. Squeeze the block. Roll the inner thighs back. Open the chest. Push the feet down into the ground. Watch that you don't collapse. You're not sinking into your shoulders. You want to feel a continuous line from your hands through your arm bones all the way to your outer hips. And then again, plank. Last one. Hold here. Squeeze the block between the legs, roll the inner thighs up, push the hands down, spread the shoulder blades wide. Couple more breaths. Hold. 5. And then release. And the knees walk the feet forward and come up. So move the block aside for the moment, but we'll need a block for today. Your right leg will come up on the chair. The left leg will step back. So you want to take a nice wide stance. We're going to come into a warrior one variation. And here, your back foot is turned out slightly. Okay? So we're going to focus on grounding the back heel. And at the same time, there's a little bit of an inner rotation of the upper inner thigh. And that's what's going to help me square my hips. You don't want to take your hips and just square them because that puts a lot of pressure on the sacroiliac joint. So what you want to do is roll this left inner thigh back And then with the pressure through the back heel, that stays really strong. Bend the front knee. So lots of weight in the back heel. My hands can be on the waist for now, roll the shoulders back. Start to shift the right leg forward so the knee comes right above the ankle. Take that left inner thigh back. And then from here, take the arms up. Now reach up through the pinky fingers. Watch that you're not collapsing in your low back. You want to maintain the integrity of the spine, which means there should be a natural curve in the low back, but not an overly arched low back. And the way we do that is by strengthening the back leg and lifting the belly. So drawing the pubic bone towards the knee. More breaths. If you're doing this correctly, it should feel like a lot of work. And then come down. Switch sides. So we'll take the left leg up on the chair. The right toes will turn out. And I want you to press your back heel into the ground and start to feel the inner thigh, the skin of the inner thigh. It's like you're taking your yoga pants from the seat and rolling it back. And that will help you bring the right hip forward. Okay? We don't want to actually square the hips because that's not natural. There is always a little kind of oblique axis to the pelvis, but we do want to bring it a little more forward, but only by rolling that left inner thigh back. Hands on the waist, open the chest. Now find the belly. Inhale. Exhale, draw the lower belly in, back and up. Push the back heel down. You should start to feel the opening in front of the right hip flexor. And then take your arms up. As you take your arms up, we're lengthening the spine. It's like someone's pulling you up from your wrist. So we're creating traction in our own back. Okay, reach out. Take a deep breath, shoulders back and down. And then come out slowly. Let's do this one again. Make sure you have a nice wide stance. Maybe step back a little more with that left leg. Take the right leg forward. Hands on the waist. Shift the hips forward. Now before you even come forward, you're going to push that back outer heel down. Look at your left foot. Make sure you're lifting your arch. You don't want to collapse on your foot. So lift the arch. Roll the left inner thigh back. Hands on the waist. And then start to bend the right leg. But the whole time, my mind is really in my back heel, okay? So I don't have time to worry. I don't have time to think about anything and what's going to happen tomorrow. We're really focusing on grounding the mind into the back heel, rolling the inner thigh back, bending the knee, and then taking the arms up. So the more you press your back heel down, the more we reach up. Relax the shoulders down the back. There's a nice natural curve in my low back, but not an overly arched back. I want to maintain space between the lower, the top of the pelvis and my lower ribs. And then switch. So push the right heel down, left leg forward. Hands on the waist. Right heel presses into the earth. Take a moment, right? I'm not in a rush to get anywhere. I want to roll that right inner thigh back. And then squeeze the elbows in towards the spine. In towards the spine. Chest nice and open. Take your time. Really feel the heel pressing down, but also lift the arch. And then reach the arms up. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Reach out through the fingertips. Open the chest. And then come out slowly. But take one more down dog, no block between the legs, just hands on the chair. But you're going to imagine you have that block between your legs. So we're pressing the feet into the ground, reach for the outer edges of the chair. And lift the sides of the waist up. And breathe and feel the space that we're creating in our low back. Okay, so we want to work the strength, but without compressing the spine. Good. And then walk the legs forward. Now we'll still use our chair. So you'll take your right leg forward, left leg back, and we'll bring our hands so they're roughly underneath the shoulders. Maybe a little bit in front of the shoulders, but pretty close to underneath the shoulders. Be on your fingertips, and then roll the shoulders back. Take the heart forward, and push the back outer heel down into the ground. So the same thing is happening in this back leg. You're also pushing your back heel down, and we're rolling the left inner thigh back, engaging the right leg, and then rolling the shoulders back, taking the chest open. So feel the shoulder blades moving down the back, and feel the heart moving forward. And notice how that changes the stretch in the legs. And when we adjust the pelvis, it directly affects the hamstring. Now switch legs. Left leg forward, right leg back. Back foot turns out about 15 degrees, hands underneath the shoulders. And here you want to watch that this left hip doesn't move forward. So you want to draw this left outer hip back, but at the same time, don't let your foot come up, because our foot likes to come up. So keep your left big toe mound on the ground, draw the left hip back, and then move the shoulder blades away from the ears. Shoulder blades away from the ears. Take the heart forward. Take the chest forward. And open the heart. Open the heart. Chest forward. Getting into the hamstrings. Nice. Okay. I'm going to show you something for the inner thighs that we can do. So this will depend on how flexible you are. So first option is to just have your leg up on a chair like this, okay? So for those of us who are a little less flexible, this is a good one. Okay, hand on the waist, and we're gonna work on engaging the legs and opening. If this is easy for you, you can also turn your chair around, and you can take a blanket or something soft, put it on top of the chair. You can do the same thing with the leg a little bit higher. I do want you to use a strap, okay, so that you can pull on the strap and lift the chest. Now, if your hips coming up way up here, then you need to go lower. Okay, so find the right position for you. The other option is to build up the chair. So if that's too low and that's too high, you can put a block or something here, and I'll just stay here. The idea is that we want the pelvis level, okay? So pull on the strap, right leg is up, lift the chest. You should feel a nice stretch in the inner thigh, but also we want to draw this right outer hip back and down. Make it heavy. It's like you have a 10-pound bag of rice sitting on your upper thighs. Moving down, sitting bone is dropping down. Lift the chest, and then take the left arm out to the side. And reach through the left fingertips. And reach to the crown of the head. And open the chest. Shoulders back. Focus on the standing leg for a moment. Don't let the hips go out. You want to hug this left hip into the body. The more you push your foot down and hug the hip in, the longer and taller we get. And then release the hands, release the leg. And we'll do the other side. So this is not about straining. In our practice, it's not about ego. It's not about going too far. It's about what is right for me. What is right for me today? Hands on the waist. Lift the chest. So while our mind or our ego might want to have our leg up higher, we really need to be realistic and look at what is serving me, right? It's not about an idea of what's better. It's an idea of what is good, what feels right. Where do I get a nice stretch without straining, without taking my body too far? And this is what we take into life. learning about what do we need, not about what other people are doing or where we think we should fit in the world, comparing ourselves to others, but really knowing what's right for us. Now take the right arm out to the side, open the chest. Shoulders back and down. Push the right foot down. Lift the chest. Open the heart. Good. And then we'll release. Okay. So we can start with our chair, and then we'll move to a block. We're going to work on triangle. Starting with the chair here by the side, legs together, step the legs wide, turn the left toes in, turn the right leg out. So it's not just the foot that turns out, it's the whole pelvis, the whole thigh, so that the whole thigh is rotating externally, the knee is in line with the toes. Okay, the back foot turns in slightly, which means the left half of the pelvis also turns in slightly. But then you really push through the heels. Okay, arms out to the side. So legs are strong. The more you lift through the legs, the more we lengthen through the spine. Don't be in a rush to come down. Okay, feel the lifting that comes from the strength in the legs. And then reach, reach. And bring your hands onto the chair, left hand on the waist. And what we want to try to do here is, we don't want to collapse into the chair. We want to push the chair away from us. So we're making both sides of the waist very long. Open the chest. Feel the outer heel pressing down into the ground. Feel the left top of the thigh going back. Feel the chest opening. Shoulders away from the ears. Slow the breathing down. And then push the feet into the ground from the pressure through the feet. Up slowly. Okay, we're taking our time today. Turn the right toes in, turn the left toes out. And this whole thigh rotates out. The left sitting bone comes forward. Open the chest. Now ground the feet. So the right leg is the outer heel that presses down. Keep the big toe mound glued to the ground as well. And the left foot, it's really the whole foot that's spreading. Open the chest. Hold here, and then exhaling, reach, lengthen through the side of the waist. Take the right hand on the hip, left hand on the chair. And open the chest. Open the chest. Roll the shoulders back. Lift the belly, take the heart forward. Now watch that you're not overarching your back. There's a lift in the belly, and the tailbone and sacrum is moving towards the back heel. So the back stays nice and open. Lengthen the sides of the waist, maybe push the chair a little bit more. Roll the right shoulder back. And then use the legs to come up slowly. Turn the left leg in, step the feet together. Good. So we're going to do the same pose with a block. If it felt really good with the chair, you're welcome to use a chair again. Okay, so with the block, we're going lower. We'll place the block behind the right foot, heel to arch. Front thigh rotates out. Left leg turns in. Again, feel the grounding through the feet, as if you're literally stretching your yoga mat out. Feel the thighs lifting. And then lengthen as if the chair is there. We're going to reach our hand on the chair, left hand on the waist, but then you bring your hand onto the block. What you don't want is to collapse down. We want to maintain that length through the right side of the waist. So lengthen the right side of the waist, open the chest, and then take the left arm up. As you push your right hand down into the block, you're going to reach to the fingertips. And as you exhale, lift the belly and move your tailbone towards your back heel, lengthening the spine throughout all the standing poses. One more breath. As you exhale, push your feet into the ground And then use your legs to come up, okay? Relax, turn the right toes in, turn the left leg out. Place the block behind the left foot. Heel to arch, right? Take a look at your foundation. You want to make sure your heel is lined up at the center of the arch. Arms out to the side, shoulders back and down. Lift the quads. Push the back heels down into the ground. And exhale, lengthen, reach as if you're reaching for the chair. And then bring your hand down on the block without losing the opening on the left side. Push the left hand down. Open the shoulder. And reach up. Now find a nice, soft, smooth breath here. As you exhale, what you want to think about is really pressing those feet down into the ground and then opening the chest. And now push the feet down into the ground and come up slowly and release. And turn the left toes in and step the feet together. Good. We're going to come into Warrior Two next. So we don't need any props. Stand and open the feet wide. Again, left toes turn in, right leg turns out. So for the next few poses, the legs are in the same position. Heel to arch. A little wider here, so you want to measure so that when you come down, your knee is right above your ankle. So just take a moment to bend the knee. If you're too narrow, your knee is going to come in front of your ankle. You don't want that. Now stay here, straighten your legs, and you want to feel as if there's like a string pulling your head up towards the sky. So kind of like you're tethered to the sky. And then take the arms out. Relax the shoulders. And as if someone's holding you up, like you can't come down, okay? You're gonna bend the knee, but you'll feel like you're resisting. You're pulling yourself up towards the sky as your front leg comes down. So make it difficult to come down. Come down slowly. As if someone's holding you up. So we maintain the leg through the spine here. Okay? We're not just sitting on the hips. We're lifting, we're being held up through the crown of the head. Now gaze over the right shoulder and hold here. And then straighten the leg and release. Good. Turn the right toes in, turn the left toes out. So you guys remember slinkies? Did you have a slinky that you used to put down the stairs that used to go over? Okay, I don't know, I can't hear anything, but we had those slinkies, and what you want to imagine is that your torso is like a slinky. So someone's holding you up, but as you lower down, the space between the vertebrae are becoming longer and wider. Hopefully that helps. Okay, so arms out. Inhale. So someone's holding you up, almost like someone's holding you up from under your armpits. And it's really hard. You're going to resist yourself, but you're going to come down slowly, slowly, one vertebrae at a time, lowering down so that as you lower, it's like we're creating more space between the lower ribs and the pelvis. So there's a sense of lifting rather than dropping. And then gaze over the left shoulder. Slowly breathing down. And then straighten the leg, turn the left toes in, relax the arms, and step the feet together. Take Tadasana for a moment. Feet together. There's that gentle internal rotation of the thighs, softening of the groins, pubic bone goes back. Buttocks are totally relaxed here. Legs are working, but the buttocks are relaxed. And then reach down through the fingertips. And as you exhale, gently lift the lower belly. And take a few breaths. You can close your eyes. Feel the feet pressing down into the earth. Feel the lift through the crown of the head. See that you can create space by using the grounding and the strength in the legs. Space in your low back. And release. Parsha Konasana. So we're going to take the legs wide. Turn the left toes in, turn the right leg out, and place your block in front of your right foot. Okay? So if you make it higher, it'll be a little easier. If you make it lower, it's a little more difficult. Some of us can even get our hands on the floor. Again, the legs are wide, the spine is long, you're being held up, and we're going to slightly bend the knee and come down. Remember not to just collapse, so remember to lengthen and go slow, like we did with Warrior 2. So we're going to come into Warrior 2, bend the knee, come down, take your time. Feel as if someone's holding you up. You're resisting yourself. And then take your right hand on the block, but don't stall, okay? You want to maintain that lift. You're lengthening. You barely need to touch the block. Okay, now your right arm will press back into your knee, left arm straight up. Okay, we want the front thigh at a 90-degree angle. 90-degree angle. So move your right sitting bone towards your knee, your right knee. Open the chest. And then put a lot of weight in your back outer heel. Open the chest. And then coming through Warrior 2. So keep your knee bent. Come up through Warrior 2. And then straighten the leg and turn the toes in. Okay? Left leg turns out, right leg turns in. Block can come in front of the foot. Okay, heel to arch. So hands on the waist. So our legs are our support. They're our sense of grounding. They're essentially what keeps our mind from floating away, what keeps us heavy on this earth. Bend the knee, come down slowly, keep the spine long, arms out to the side, Warrior 2. Gaze over the left shoulder. Now maintaining the length without collapsing, gently reach down through the left fingertips. Push the left arm back into the thigh and take the right arm straight up. And really put a lot of attention into the back outer heel. Keep your arch lifted. Lift the belly. Rotate the chest open. Smile. And then come up through Warrior 2. And up. Turn the toes in. Step the feet together. Tadasana. Take a moment. Slow the breathing down. Feet press down into the earth. Lift the chest. You repeat a lot of the poses and we learn different qualities of the poses because we start to embody it. It starts to become part of our nervous system. So eventually one day we don't have to think about all these things, we just stand straight. Another variation, we're going to take the block behind the foot. So the legs are going to come wide. Block is going to come behind the right leg. Now if that felt difficult, you're welcome to do that first variation with the block in the front again. Okay. Arms out to the side, inhale. Exhale, bend the knee. Now, keeping that length in the spine, we don't want to lose any of the instructions from the past few postures. We're going to lengthen, bring the hand down behind the knee. And now this thigh rolls back towards the arm. So now I'm moving my leg towards my arm, and the left arm will come overhead. You want to have a straight line from the left fingertips all the way to the back outer heel. Okay, lots of energy in the arm. Don't bend the arm. Really reach through the fingertips. It's okay to have the arm up even higher if that's difficult. Or you can even have your arm by your side and reach down, which is a nice way to open the shoulders. Open the chest, hold, and then come up. Switch sides. Right leg in, left leg out. Lock behind that left heel. Arm out to the side. Inhale. Exhale, bend. Come down. Reach through the fingertips. Left hand on the block without collapsing. Roll the left thigh back. Take the right arm overhead. Push the right outer heel down into the ground. Open the chest. Slow the breathing down. Reach through the fingertips. Push the back heel down into the ground. You want to feel the grounding and the reaching at the same time. And then we'll come out through warrior two. Straighten the leg, turn the toes in, and step the feet together. Okay. So we're going to come into Ardha Chandrasana, balancing pose. If you have a wall behind you, I'll give you the option to use the wall, okay? So if you have a wall space that's big enough, you can do this, okay? And that way we're leaning here because we're going to hold a little bit longer. If you don't have that much wall, don't worry about it. You can also come forward and bring your foot up on a wall like this. So our chest can be nice and open. Okay? So find a position, either your back against the wall, your foot against the wall, and if you're stuck in the middle of the room, or if you want to challenge the balance a little bit more. So I'll use the wall. We're going to bend the front knee, place the block in front of the pinky toe, and come up into half moon. So this right leg has to be right under the hip. Okay? And then keep the knee slightly soft, and then push the foot into the ground and roll the upper thigh bone out, moving the sitting bone forward. So this standing leg is very important. And then with this top leg, you're pushing through the big toe mound as well. Okay? This isn't rotating out, rotating in. It's in a neutral position, but you're keeping it there. With our left hand, we're going to reach back through towards the toes. So we're opening the chest. And hold. So lots of strength in the legs. That's what keeps you balanced. Slow the breathing down, lift the belly. And then you can bend the knee and come down very slowly as if you're coming through triangle. And turn the right toes in and turn the left toes up. Okay. So second side, again, either variation with support in the middle of the room, with the foot on the wall. And we're going to take the arm alongside the body. That way we can really reach through the fingertips and open the chest. Now bend the left knee slightly. Half of my foot is on the mat and half on the floor, which isn't very good. So I'm going to keep my foot grounded. And then work the pressure through the feet. Feel the weight moving up through the femur bone. The sitting bone comes forward. Reach through the top foot. And then the arm by the side. Just the head and neck is just an extension of the rest of the spine. So lift the belly. Push through the heel. Open the chest. And then bend the knee and come down slowly. Okay, so we're going to do it again, and I'm going to give you an option to challenge it. Okay, so now we're going to bring in a little more core strength. So if you don't have a wall behind you, this is pretty challenging. We're going to come down into the pose. You're welcome to stay here, okay? Or you can move your block out of the way and just hold here without any pressure in the hands. Won't hold very long, because this definitely challenges the core quite a bit. But hold. Okay, if you're new, if you're beginning, if you have any back issues, make sure your hand is supported, and then come down. A little challenge for today. Okay, other side. There should be no pain in the back. If there's pain in the low back, definitely use support. Although this pose is recommended for sciatica, actually. One of the poses we do for back problems. So reach the fingertips back, open the chest, then you can take your arm up. And then, if that feels okay, we can let go and hold. And then release. From here, let's take a child's pose. Take a little bit. Knees wide. We'll touch. And then walk the hands out in front. And rest the forehead on the floor. And take a few deep breaths here into the low back. So inhaling into the low back, exhaling, relaxing. Walk your hands a little bit to the right, take the left hand on top of the right, and sit back on the left heel. Good. And then to the other side. And then come back to this. Okay. So now we're going to come into a twist. We're going to use the chair. Right leg will come forward, left leg back, hands on the chair. And from here, we'll move into Parivrtta Trikonasana, revolving triangle pose. So the shoulders will roll back, the chest will come forward. Move the left hand towards the center of the chair, the right hand on the sacrum. And with that sacrum, it's pulling your sacrum, your tailbone back. Again, our focus is to create length in the spine. So you're really drawing that sacrum back, heart forward. And then rotate the chest towards the right. It's a small movement. We want to make sure that we're not dropping the hips too much. There's a sense of drawing the hips back. Like there's a strap around our waist, pulling us back. And then lengthen through the crown of the head and then twist. Back to the center and then switch legs. Left leg forward, right leg back, hands on the chair, open the chest, open the heart. Take a moment here to set up, right? Feel that left hip drawing back. And now bring your right hand towards the center of the chair, the left hand on the sacrum. And before we twist, don't be in a rush to kind of get anywhere. There's probably nowhere to go anyway. So take the crown of the head forward, take the sacrum back, lengthen the spine. And then rotate the left shoulder back. We're opening the chest nice and slow, but the emphasis is on maintaining space in the low back. Someone's pulling your hips back. And open them just from the upper back area. And then come back. Okay, so we're going to do one more. If you'd like, if you have any back issues, use the chair again. We're going to use the block. So we're going a little bit lower, but it's always okay to use the chair. So you'll take your right leg forward, left leg back. Now we're going to start with the block on the inside of the right foot, and you have to decide on the height. Basically, you want to be able to reach the block without struggling and with the legs straight. Okay, hands on the waist, open the chest. Take a moment again to feel that slinky, right? That's our torso that's lifting up towards the sky. So someone's holding us up. Right hand on the tailbone, left arm up. And then reach, lengthen the spine, bring your hand down onto the block. Okay, now lengthen through the crown of the head. Take the sacrum away from the head and start to twist. Now, if that's okay on the shoulders, you can work on taking your arm up. But if it creates tension in the shoulder, just have your hands on your hip and roll the shoulders. Release. Come up. And then take the left leg forward and take the right leg back. Start standing straight, right? Lengthen the spine. Notice the more you press into the feet, the more we really lengthen through the crown of the head. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Left hand on the sacrum, right arm up. Reach, inhale. Exhale, lengthen. Bring the hand down onto the block. With the left hand, move your tailbone, move your sacrum away from the head. Lengthen the spine. Inhale. Exhale. Twist, roll the left shoulder back. Open the heart. Push the right heel down. If that feels okay, you can reach your arm up towards the sky. But the twist is not coming from the shoulder. It's coming from the thoracic spine, from the upper back. And then release down, step forward, and come up. Okay, so we're going to do one more variation with the block on the outside of the foot. If that's not difficult, you'll stick with the one that feels right for you. Okay, legs spread. Block can come outside the foot. If you're very practiced, you can have your left fingertips on the ground. Okay, so either your hand will come on the block, or you can reach on your fingertips on the ground and your outer arm will brace against your shin bone. Okay, so those are the options. I'll show you that variation, but feel free to use a block. Okay, inhale, take the left arm up. Exhale, reach. Bring your hand behind the shin or on the block and use your hand to lengthen the spine. And then take the arm up towards the sky. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Keep your back heel pressing into the ground. And then come up slowly. We'll switch sides. Left leg forward, right leg back. Hands on the waist. You might start to feel warm. Lots of heat. Twists start to create a lot of heat in the body. Good. Take the right arm up, left hand on the sacrum. And then reach to the fingertips. Reach, reach, reach. Bring the hand on the outside of the right foot, either on the block or on the floor. Brace your hand on the outside and open the chest. And then release. Come out slowly. And take downward dog with your hands on the chair or on the floor. You want to relieve any tension in the back. So you can take your legs a little bit wider than your hips and turn your toes in. And we're going to lengthen the spine here and take the tops of the thighs back. So we're going to do another similar thing, but with the legs very wide. I'd like you to use a chair if you have one. Asavita Padottanasana, so legs are going to come wide. Nice wide stance, toes slightly turned in. Lift through the crown of the head. So here, what we want to do is feel the strength of the legs. Okay, often people just collapse down into this pose. You have to really push your inner and outer heel down. Lift your arch, lift through the crown of the head, and then come forward, and we're going to push the chair away from us. So our legs are lifting, but the spine is staying long. Okay, so spine is long here. Lengthen the spine. Now make sure you're not collapsing in the arches. Lift the arches. Lift the thighs. Look at where your hands are. Make sure they're even. Start to crawl your hands up. Sides of the waist long. And hold here, breathing softly. And then we'll come back up, heel to the feet in, hands on the waist. Come up slowly. Let's sit up on a block. We're going to stretch the outer hips. Ardha Matsyendrasana. So you'll take your left leg underneath and your right leg on top. So now we worked our legs. We're going to stretch out our hips. So you're going to hug the knee in, but you want to keep your whole foot pressing down on the ground. So if it is not possible, then bring your foot on the outside of the knee. Okay, so either the foot is on the, I'm sorry, here it's on the outside, the other way it's on the inside. You're going to hug the knee, lift the chest, and try to keep your sitting bones pressing firmly down into the ground. Lift through the crown of the head. Push the foot down, lift through the crown of the head. Shoulders back and down. So I have my right hand in my hip crease. And I do that to try to keep my right hip crease soft and also to move the right outer hip down. I want to ground this right hip. I don't want to let this right hip come up. Okay? And then as you inhale, you're lengthening through the crown of the head. And as you exhale, shoulders move away from the ears. Come back to the center. Switch legs. Right leg underneath, left leg on top. It's helpful to sit up higher here. Helps keep the hips open. Left hand in the groin. I want to feel, is this muscle tight, right? If it is, I want to soften my groin muscle. There's no reason we need to be tight in hip flexors. Okay, everything in life tightens our hip flexors. In yoga, we want to release tension in hip flexors. We want to balance that out. So lengthen through the crown of the head. Release the tension in the left groin. Round the left hip. Hug the thigh in. Lift through the crown of the head. And then twist to the left. Just feel the length you're creating through the spine. Should feel a nice opening in the left outer hip. Really good for knee problems and hip problems and back problems. And then come out slowly. We're going to go back to the first side. If that's easy, you can try to go lower down, but there's no need to do that. I like to sit on a blanket. The blanket is a nice height for me. Block is a little high. You can pull the blanket up. And now, what we're going to do, we have that right hand to the groin, lengthen through the crown of the head. Ground both sitting bones. Take the right fingertips behind the back. So it's in line with your sacrum, your tailbone. And then push down into the ground and lift through the crown. And as you exhale, move gently twist. And then come out and switch sides. Left leg crosses over the right. Don't let this hip come off the ground. You want to keep it rooted, keep it down. Hug the knee in, but keep your sitting bone down. And then take the left hand behind the back, as close to the sacrum as you can get it. Push down through the fingertips, lift through the crown of the head. Feel the length first. Inhale, lengthen. Again, we're creating that space in the low back. Exhale, gently twist. Open the chest. And then come up slowly. So now we're going to lie on our back. Your head can be supported. Okay, you can have a pillow for your head. We're going to take our strap again. Right leg will come up. We're going to come into Parivrtta Supta Paramukshtasana, which means you'll take your right leg up, extend the left leg out, hold the strap in the left hand, and take the right arm out to the side. So we're going to go, the first version is just to bring the leg across the body a little bit, so the right foot is in line with the left shoulder. But if that is easy, we can go a little further today and bring the leg as far down as you can without changing anything in your left leg. So your left toes are up. You're bringing your leg across and reaching through the right fingertips. So we're really getting into the IT band and the outer hip on the right side. Reach through the fingertips, open the chest. And then a couple more breaths here. Really engage your quads. The more you engage your quads, the more you'll feel on the outer hip. And bring the leg back up. Okay, if that's difficult, don't go as far over to the side. You can just take it a little bit over. Again, our right leg is grounded. Heel pressing down, toes pointing up. Hold the strap in the right hand, left arm out to the side. Okay, push through the right heel. And then start to bring the leg across. This might be enough. Okay. If you can go further, we'll bring the leg across the body, but keep engaging the quads. You're pushing the thigh bone away from the head. We're reaching through the fingertips, opening the chest. Push through the heel. Strong legs. Even though we're stretching, we're activating the legs here. And then come up. We're going to do another pose to stretch the same part of the body, the outer hips, outer legs. So take the right leg over the left. Hug the knees in. This is like Gomukhasana leg. And then if that feels okay, you can reach for your ankles, pull the ankles apart. And the knees come down towards the chest. Okay. If this is too much, don't worry about it. Just bring your knees towards your chest. But one thing we want to do is try to find some softness in the groins. Think about the groins being soft. You can really fold a little deeper here. Close the eyes, take a few deep breaths. And then switch sides, take the left leg over the right. Hug the knees in. Reach for the ankles, pull the ankles apart. Knees towards the chest. Feel the left outer hip opening. You can even breathe into that area. Soften the groin. And then release that side and hug both knees in towards the chest. And we'll stay here for a few breaths. I want you to try to keep your sacrum on the ground. So don't let your hips come up, but keep your sacrum glued to the earth. And it's like you're moving your tailbone away from the head. The tailbone moves away from the head. Lengthening the low back. And then after we do this, a couple more breaths, we'll come into our Shavasana. So you can take a bolster for your knees, or you can put your legs on a chair. Or you can lie flat on your back. We'll release the legs down. I'm going to use a chair for my legs. It feels like it will release more tension in the low back and the hips. So you can have a chair. Place your legs on the chair. If the chair is cold or hard, put a blanket under your shins. And get those shin bones to really rest right on the chair. They're completely supported. And then here, if your legs are up, even on a bolster, it's nice to soften the bellies, to visualize the muscles here in the crease area softening and melting. Heavy legs, heavy bones, muscles are relaxed and soft. And feel the low back spreading. Letting go completely. Just embodying the qualities of earth, heaviness, the dropping, density. Every exhalation, you're just melting a little bit more into the ground. Take a few more breaths here. And slowly, without a rush, keeping the brain relaxed. And the knees roll over to the side. Take a moment here, hug the knees towards the chest. And then press up slowly to a seated position. And keep the eyes soft or closed. A lot of what we're doing here is not just working on the physical body, but also working on the nervous system. So it's really important that you don't alarm the nervous system. Go slow. Moving from the fight or flight or sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic nervous system. And a lot of the standing poses helps us ground. So bring the hands back to the heart center. Noticing the quality of your breath, the quality of your mind. See if the mind is a little less scattered, a little more contained, a little more in the heart. Now we can move on with our day with a little more connection to the ground, and living a little more fully from the heart center. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me online.